Hey everyone, welcome again to Inman's Insider Webinar Series, the fastest, most informative 30 minutes in real estate. I'm your host, technology columnist Craig Rao, and with us today is one of the space's most creative digital marketing companies, Agent Image. And for the last couple of years, Agent Image and my guest, Brian Shore, have been continuing to perfect their flagship marketing platform, Access. And it can do more than you expect, and even beyond that when you attach the right message to its capabilities. Speaking of messaging, I'd like to mention that in these market conditions, no message is more important than why real estate agents are important to the transaction. Not to put it lightly, these are unprecedented times, and you're in the middle of a big change with an uncertain endpoint. So without a concise, demonstrable marketing foundation, that endpoint is going to be even harder to find. And that's why Brian is with us today to offer his company's insight on how you can deliver your brand to where it's needed most. So thanks for being here, Brian. It's great to see you again.
Great seeing you, Craig. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Sorry I didn't get your title in there.
No.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'm the VP of Business Development over at Agent Image. I'm also a co-creator of Access and Access.com. And it's interesting, the things that you brought up just now. You know, as we were kind of chatting before this, if you are not in some way, shape, or form getting a little bit more aggressive, or at least reevaluating your marketing, especially digitally, you're going to be behind the eight ball. You're pretty much already there. So it's interesting you brought all that up. It is a different time, and I mean, just like the shakeup during the pandemic, right? A lot of people learn, holy geez, I don't have a website, or I don't have the digital, footprint to make me relevant. How do I, everything that I was doing in person kind of thing, I kind of foresee not necessarily another pandemic, but more of an emphasis on your digital importance.
Yeah. And why it's really different now too. Like the pandemic was a market, like that was a market driven slide. Yes, it was like an illness that caused everybody to sit still and not do anything, but that was a market, right? The market slid. It was economic in nature. Yeah. This is beyond, like this is part economic. This is part like legislative, right? These are court cases. Things are fundamentally changing in how real estate agents and brokerages are going to be compensated. And no one's really sure what's going to happen. So brokerages have to take the lead. Leaders in this space have to lead. That's what has to happen now. And marketing is a big part of that. Getting messages out, communicating what's important has got, you have to be aggressive with it now.
Yeah.
And clear.
Yeah, it's a good point of, brokers kind of, sending that point to their agents, to their teams, educating and really kind of preparing you, be prepared. It's a different time. So yeah. I couldn't agree more.
And you got to get in front of the consumers. You have to educate them. Consumers are seeing these headlines in, Inman doesn't have a lot of consumer readership, right? We're a trade publication, but the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, all these other publications, they're reaching consumers and they're seeing these headlines, and they're going to have questions, right?
Yep.
And they're going to get aggressive with agents. So you have to demonstrate your value and why you're important. And you are, like, agents are important. Don't let that get in your head that you're not important. So, yeah. We clearly have a lot to say on this, but I don't want to take why you're here. So, but let's get into it.
Yeah. So, I mean, what is Access? Really, I kind of best describe it as the ultimate real estate marketing platform. What we're looking to do is empower agents, teams, brokers with, the tools that can really impact what they do on a day-to-day basis. And funny enough, as I kind of go through this, it's not always going to be necessarily Access or Agent Image that you're going to see through Access, and that'll make a lot more sense as I kind of get into it. Here, actually, let me go ahead and share my slides here. Supercharge your marketing. Here we go. So Here's my information here. I'll try to put this slide back up at the end. I'm going to just go ahead and get into it. Kind of hitting the rewind or the reset here. Gosh, it was about a year ago, I think, when we last spoke. And where Access was then and where we are now, and honestly, even where we're headed, it's really kind of evolved and really kind of morphed into something a lot more than what we even thought out of the gate, right?
Nice.
So before I get into the new stuff, just kind of hitting the reset on kind of where we were. Again, one platform with multiple tools that are going to be at your fingertips at any given point here. Again, hitting the rewind, the listing presentation and the digital open house. Those were the kind of the base, right? We looked at this as a presentation platform at that point, right? The digital listing presentation, to me, it has evolved by leaps and bounds. We've now incorporated, not only the template sets, but we've actually incorporated content into some of these. So you're not just having to use your own content. We've actually seeded it with some, whether it's numbers or facts, whatever it may be. These are things that are kind of built almost ready to go. You pop in your information and, from a do-it-yourself type product, the listing presentation, one of the things that we always talk about is, when is the last time you updated your listing presentation? And what does it look like digitally, right? I got a little thing here on my end. One second.
The poll.
Oh, okay. No. Sorry, I was like, that one threw me off. When was the last time you updated your listing presentation? And the second is, what does it look like digitally, right? Is it still just a handbook that you're handing over? And I'm sure I've seen some really nice ones that are binded, but how are you able to track that? That's one of the beautiful things about the listing presentation that we've created, is that you can actually see when your audience is going in, what pages how much time they're spending on these pages, et cetera, to really kind of dial in your listing presentation to be, bar none.
Yeah. I want to jump on that for a second. Why that's important, because listing presentation can't be static, right? If you're putting time into it, it is a marketing asset that needs to be measured like all others, right? If it's not after you present it, they go back and look at it, it's not getting the reactions, like maybe you need to change some pictures or alter the messaging, right? Yep. Use it as a way to gauge the integrity of your message, right? Find out what's working and what isn't.
And my kind of goal with the listing presentation especially was making sure it felt like you never left the living room. Being able to incorporate audio files, video, as you mentioned, your stats, your brag pieces, whatever it may be. That was one of the things that, how do you know? What are they looking at? Mm-hmm. Does it still feel like you're in the living room kind of thing? So this was one piece, as part of the original Access, as well as the digital open house. So once you won the listing, the digital open house, otherwise known as a single property website, which, let's face it, a lot of people love the idea, right? Again, You're able to track the stats of, what are they looking at? Is it being shared? And this is at this point, you have all of your assets. You have your videos, your photos, your descriptions, your virtual tours. It's basically all in one branded place, right? Easy to share and easy to track.
I'm a big fan of the single listing websites. Beyond just being a great resource for buyers, especially when they're in that stage of deciding between 2 or 3 houses. Yep. No doubt, if you have one of these up and it looks good, I think that is absolutely going to sway buyers. But sellers must love this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that to me, you can still use this as a share piece, but you can actually use this as your open house at your open house. As
Oh
you
yeah.
come in, if you want to have a QR code up, people can just scan that. Boom, you got your open house. They're able to go through all the information that you've already put together right there as they walk the property, right?
Yep.
That's kind of where we were, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yep.
to bring you to the exciting things, and I mean, we are really excited about the website builder. It felt like a big piece was missing, and it was a way for not only access to grow, but also agent image. Since access is kind of parented by agent image, there is a decent amount of clientele agents out there that aren't necessarily able to enjoy the awesome design work and the award-winning websites that we've been able to build over the years, just because they're cash strapped.
Mm-hmm.
The website builder, that's kind of where we stepped in and say, let's go ahead and put out some amazing templates, some themes that are pre-designed that we're able to still incorporate our design work into it, and they're out of the gate ready to go. We've set this up so it's a website builder, do it yourself. We even have an option where you can work with a professional and we can actually set it up for you for very, very minimal cost.
Nice.
And to me, the website builder now, and again, this isn't just for an individual agent. If you have a team, you can build a team website right here through the website builder. And again, you now have access to your website builder, your digital listing presentations, and your single property sites all here in one place.
All right, let me rant for a second on websites, why they're important. We know so Inman does this every year. We've been interviewing, we've been finding like 100 top agents, and every year we're doing this piece where we get tips from all these agents to provide our audience. The hardest thing to do is to find an actual contact number for some of these agents. And the reason is because they have so many disparate websites. There is some convoluted brokerage template that's awful. There are outdated, like they were on a team 5 years ago and that web presence is still there, but they're not even closely related to that team anymore. Those exist. Like some third party ranking site will have a presence for this agent that's like halfway down Google. It's becoming so difficult because they're not creating a centralized source, right, to be located and to communicate their brand on the internet. And it gets really frustrating sometimes. I can only imagine like if they get a referral and someone is going to Google them and check them out, like what website do they use? This person has 5 different, headshots on 6 different sites or something. It's bizarre.
Yep. I could spend an hour on this easily. The saying "all roads lead to Rome." That's basically where are you catching your leads?
Yeah.
The circle of whether you're doing social media, via Instagram, YouTube, you're doing mailers, you're doing email campaigns, whatever it may be. Where are you sending them, and is it the best representation of you and your brand? Right. So I couldn't agree more. Again, I could probably spend an hour on that. And to me, it's interesting. One of the things that we've always noticed is that on the internet, this is where you can actually level the playing field, right?
Yeah.
That's why we thought it was really cool that being able to develop something like the website builder was so we can incorporate our design capability in someone that's maybe they're only a year, 2 years, 3 years in, or they're still struggling to create that brand. Well, at least they have something that's a professional look and feel. So when somebody does go to their website, after they get their business card or whatever it may be, that it is a best representation of them for now, at least, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we actually did build these things so they can actually, if this is what you want to roll with as your brand, it can absolutely sustain, no doubt. So we are really excited about the website builder and all the potential that it kind of holds right now. We already have 5 different templates up, and 6 is, I believe, is being delivered this week. So we're out of the gate. And the cool thing is like down the road, where we see this thing going is we hope to have the platform at a place where not only Agent Image or Access, client employees or are the ones that are designing these templates. We want to be able to have kind of an open market, right?
Yeah.
So designers from wherever you may be can go in, design some cool stuff.
Nice.
And have a true library of website designs that are available for the masses.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And you can add a custom domain, which is another thing I would highly recommend. That's the other thing. Like when you find some of these brokerage domains, it's like the Smith Jones team in Reno, Coldwell Banker. Like it's like,
yes,
it's crazy long.
Yes.
It's like, just tighten it up. Let's go. Let's build a brand around it.
Exactly. That was what I was going to mention. That ends up being part of your brand, your domain URL, whatever that may be. That was one of the reasons why it was so important for us to go after access.com when we did. And that was an important move for us.
I remember we talked about that. That wasn't an easy pursuit, was it?
Long story behind the pursuit, but let's just say we won.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at, right? The cool thing is we've already stepped into where we're going.
Okay.
Right. I mentioned, where we were, where we're at. This is where we're going, and then we've already started. So we've always kind of preached the best in class attitude, right? With Agent Image, it was we build the best websites. We do the best digital marketing when it comes to SEO, PPC. That was kind of where our head was. We want you to be able to use the best CRM or the best marketing suite, whatever it may be. This is where we've actually kind of created a best in class for a true marketing suite. So Maxa and James Wong is the owner over at Maxa. We've developed a great relationship with James. Learned a lot about his product. It's one that's great that I see a lot of brokerages using. He's the first one that we've actually incorporated into our best in class area for marketing suite products. And we're going to be including everything from CRM systems to print marketing stuff, you name it. Our goal is to kind of go through and again find and kind of vet some of these tools, these powerful tools that agents should be exposed to, and actually do a little due diligence to make sure that we are either partnering or affiliating or even recommending companies that we feel strongly about.
Right before you said that was my first thought was there are a lot of big brokerages and they out there, right, that their solutions group that's leading RE, they do a good job of vetting partners. A lot of them, some of them not their partners, but these big brands, they just kind of connect with anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're just kind of creating more options and more indecision, right?
Yep.
So if Agent Image wants to be the trusted resource for these additional companies and partners, vet them. Make sure you're bringing on board, the best of the best in those arenas. And I've reviewed Maxa, and that is a pretty remarkable product. The amount of intrinsic flexibility in the marketing materials you can create and the messaging you can build in that suite is pretty impressive.
It was to us, it was pretty much a perfect fit as our initial implementation into this suite. Because they do a great job marketing suite wise. And to what you were describing, it's one of those things. We don't want to be the one stop. Yeah, we don't want to be the one-stop shop as far as the products that we're delivering access wise or Agent Image wise. we want to be able to do the best of what we do, but we want to be able to provide, agents and teams at least a place where it's a one-stop shop. You don't necessarily have to be our products, but hey, here's some, options that are out there that are, names that are, proven or trusted.
Yeah.
So that's where kind of we have gone from, where we were all the way to, where we're headed. We see a lot of great things and basically Access just being something that continues to grow as of right now. So if you go on access.com right now, you can sign up. It's a 7-day free trial. You can start using it right away. If you go into, once you pass the 7 days, we have an option at $99.99 per month, as well as $149.99 per month. And basically the difference between those is going to be the implementation of IDX or not. So it keeps it pretty simple. Just some things that I would, kind of side mention. If you do want someone to, build it for you and you don't want to do it yourself per se, we have an option.
Nice.
It's very reasonable. In addition to that, one of the things that I've done for a couple of clients and I see being very popular, I have clients that are reaching out for custom design work on listing presentations and the digital open house for those single property sites. We have custom options for that. That's more of kind of a, let's see what you need kind of thing, and we'll quote it out for you. And those are just kind of the mini opportunities that we're kind of seeing right now. And again, Agent Image, we've been around we're in our 25th year. I think I'm in my 12th year here. And, this wouldn't be as special. Access.com would not be as special if we didn't have the talent and the experience that is powered by Agent Image. The design work, even the layouts of the designs. These are proven things that have over, like I said, the last 25 years, 24 years are proven to work.
We've been talking we've known each other a few years now. I honestly didn't know Agent Image was that old. And that sounds pejorative. It sounds pejorative when I say that old. But why that's super important is because you were essentially starting right when the internet was really becoming a business asset, right?
That's correct. So actually,
you learned a lot in that era.
We're only a few months younger than Google.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to learn over those 2.5 decades, right? Like all the different clients that have come and gone, right? You learn from each one of those, which is just expertise you can continue to apply to new customers.
Absolutely. I mean, not only that, but the markets that this company has seen and weathered. So we've, as you can imagine, in the last 25 years, you kind of do the math. You've seen the ups, the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, right?
Yeah.
So this is just another way for us to pivot based on what we've learned, in history, based on the things that we're seeing, based on our conversations. I'm on the road quite a lot, and Access really it is a product that I would like to say it's built by the agent for the agent. And the reason I say that, as I'm on the road, we're asking the questions. What is it that you need? What are the the pain points? What could you be doing better? What could we be doing better?
And speaking kind of the internet, I want to go back to the website builder for a second. That's just, as I mentioned at the top of the call, right before I jumped on this, there was a Facebook group that I'm a part of with agents, and they asked a question about, are you going to build a website or just rely on your MLS? But what makes your website builders different than like a lot of the consumer ones they could get, like a Wix, right, or a Squarespace, those kind of things?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think part of the answer was the 24 years of experience. So
Oh,
the design work, there's a method to the madness, right? There's a reason why we have call to action buttons where we have them. There's a reason why we've designed things, a certain way. And the way we've actually set this up is, I want I want my mother to be able to go in and be able to build a website, on her own without my help, and her be able to figure it out. And to me, the user friendliness of this product has just been, um, it started out great and has just gotten better and better as we, continue to tweak and adjust.
cool. Yeah. Um,
Having also,
I'm curious about. Go ahead.
couldn't agree more though.
Yeah.
You need a website. No matter what, you do need a website. You need to have your own brand, something where even if you belong to a team, you belong to a brokerage, it's okay for you to have your own website, and you should.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys have like what specific features stand out in the website builders? Does it have like is it easy to get listing pages on there, all that kind of stuff?
So
Call to
the
action?
the great thing is, so I mean, you have, if you're not utilizing IDX, you're uploading your own manual listings, right? So that's
Yeah.
as quickly as you want to get them up. And again, the back end, with Agent Image, we built everything on WordPress. With this one, it's a little bit more of a proprietary type system to make it so it's so easy to use that you don't have to have a background in WordPress, right?
Yeah.
Being able to go in and upload your listings that way. If you have IDX, the listing feature runs automated, so you really don't. It's really hands off once you get everything up and running. The other cool features about it, I loved the incorporation of things like social media. Obviously,
Mhm.
social media is a big thing. And honestly, the team page aspect and individual bio pages, stuff like that, to me, that was a big deal, because this ended up being something that wasn't just for individual agents, that even teams could take advantage of it and have like a full team spread of, man, here I have an actual agent roster. And this is
Yeah.
something that's, already pre-designed for me. I don't have to, do too much hard lifting here, other than providing my logo here and my information there and content there. So
Nice.
the answer is making it as dummy proof as possible.
Yeah. Okay. On that note, tell me a little bit about support. Like, what if I decide to build it myself, but I just keep tripping up?
Get a hold of us. We have support standing by on either access.com. We have a support channel there. Or just, if you just call in, we can even walk you through it. Chances are, I've been doing this long enough. I know the do-it-yourself thing is only going to be for a select few. The majority
Yeah.
in this business, they are going to ask for us to set it up for them, and that's okay.
Yeah.
There is literally a button as you're going through, even after you sign up in your dashboard. There's a button that says "Work with an expert," so you can literally on spot get in touch with support, and we're helping you, that same day.
Is there like going onto the individual property pages?
Mhm.
Is there a widget that will disallow users from using exclamation points when describing properties?
Oh, that's good. I think there should be a lot of things that should be, almost an AI bot to say, "Hey, don't do that," so often.
Hey, that's the first. We've gone almost 30 minutes. That's the first mention of AI.
Oh
Which,
yeah,
no, that's okay. Like, we don't
yeah.
always have to talk about it.
Agreed. There's a lot of amazing things about it, but it's also okay to be as original as possible, right?
Yeah, by all means. All right, we're winding down a bit. Just, is there anything on the roadmap? I mean, you don't have to get super specific, but anything you can entice us with. So maybe next year, if we're doing this again, we got something else to talk about.
The things that I would mention, on the roadmap, just the expansion of the website builder. There are certain things that I'm looking for with the CMA aspect of our listing presentation that I think are going to be a game changer for that particular product. Really, the expansion of the marketing suite is something that I'm going to be concentrating on. I'm going to leave the tech stuff to the techies. They can work about the CMA. But to me, finding those relationships and vetting them is kind of where my focus is going to be, and really growing that marketing suite.
Awesome. Good stuff. Brian, like you mentioned earlier, this is stuff I think we could talk about for a couple of hours at least, until like the attendees just dwindled down to zero because they were just sick of hearing us talk about marketing and what can be done and everything that needs to be done and all that kind of stuff. So
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks again for taking the time to meet with us. So for those out there, feel free to reach out to Brian directly at bshorr. That is just BSHORR at agentimage.com. And anything else you want to add, Brian, before we leave?
No, always a pleasure. Thanks, Craig. Thank you, Inman. Always love working with you guys, and can't wait to see you again soon.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye-bye.